Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. I'd like to share with you how I get 210,000 damage or 10 citadels to complete the heroic challenge. So we're going to start off with the 10 citadels. German carriers have turned into my go-to because I'm just able to get more consistency out of it. As you can see, I'm lined up, goal is dead center, bam, 3 citadels with the kill. So as I come out of that drop, you'll see there's another battleship. I don't want to hit him on the side. That's where all of his AA is, and I've noticed that when you're hitting battleships on the side, not all the bombs tend to connect. So that's why I turn around and I try to line him up from the front. If he's running away, you can obviously line him up from the rear, but really the goal is to try to hit it nice in center. Luckily for me, he doesn't move. He's just straight on. Get it lined up. Again, dead center where the smokestack, the tower, all of the soft stuff is. Bam. 2 more citadels. So on that squadron, we were able to get 5 citadels. Normally, I would switch and go ahead and get into the torpedoes and then let my APs regenerate. But because we got to get this challenge, the enemy team is melting. I've only got 1 battleship to target. I'm going to go ahead and use the last AP squadron. Trying to get over there as quickly as possible because if he's gone, my next 2 targets are going to be cruisers and the carrier. Trying to get AP, or any squadron for that fact, on a carrier is going to be difficult. They have the best AA in the game. If you're going for cruisers, their rudder shift is crazy. So at the last moment, they can turn and your bombs will not hit. So luckily for me, for whatever reason, this battleship is still just barreling on. He doesn't want to turn. I get it. He's battle tanking our allied battleship. So he does turn a little bit. We still get 3 hits. At this point, I probably should have used the shield so that way the last 2 planes didn't die. My thought process was I'm going to go ahead and keep it just in case I need to try to make a run on either the cruiser or the carrier. So last plane, another dead on, and boom, we got our 10 citadels. Now with our 10 citadel challenge complete, we're going to go ahead and jump into our torpedo plane and we're going to finish him off. On a side note, this is the Starscream Decepticon camo. And I'll be honest, they did a good job. I just feel like they fell a little short. It still sounds like a biplane, and there's no flames coming out the rear. So I would have just absolutely loved to have seen more of a jet. As far as effects, that would have been fantastic. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and finish him off, but let me go ahead and give you guys some additional options for trying to get your 10 citadels. If you want to jump in a destroyer, you can get it, but you're going to be looking to try to ambush a broadside cruiser. If you're going to jump in a cruiser, you're really going to try to ambush a broadside cruiser. There really isn't a way for you to get 10 citadels on a battleship or a destroyer if you're in a cruiser. Same thing if you're in a destroyer, you're not going to be getting 10 citadels off of another destroyer or a battleship. So battleships is really going to be your absolute best bet for consistent citadels because they have the AP, they punch, the penetration value, they have everything you need, except it's going to be dependent on your RNG. It's going to be dependent on your team, on the enemy team. So it's several different things that have to come into play for you to get those 10 citadels. So that was the 10 citadel challenge. I hope that the information I provided will help you obtain your 10 citadels. So we're going to jump into the next one, which is 210,000 damage, and that really is going to be the most difficult one. For this challenge, my go-to is Yamato. Now in this clip, I sped everything up so that way you don't have to grit your teeth through a 20-minute long video. And that's also why everything sounds like chipmunks. So we went ahead and took out Yamato. We're going to focus on that cruiser. I wanted to get those 2 off the board, giving our right flank breathing room, allowing them to cap C. because as you can see, well, we just went up on points after I got him, but we were down. So when it comes to 210,000, it's really going to be dependent on what are you more comfortable with playing. I can tell you that Tier 7 and Legendary has the biggest health pool, and that's going to be probably the easiest to obtain it in. Not saying it can't be done in the lower tiers, but in the Heroic Challenge, you have to be Tier 5 or above. So, again, depending on what your play style and which class ships you like, is really going to be dependent on your best way that you're going to want to do it. I can tell you that it's going to be dependent, again, on RNG, matchmaking, your team, everything, for you to be able to obtain that kind of damage. If you're in a cruiser, I'm not your best guy. I'm okay in cruiser, 100 and some thousand damage. I can get 200. I have yet to break 200 in a cruiser. Now, in a DD, I have broke 200k, and each time has been in a torpedo boat. Not so much in a gunboat, but a torpedo boat. So if you can get the enemies spotted and get them taken out, the enemy DD that is, then that will free you up to go ahead and just rain hellfire, as far as torpedoes goes, on those battleships. So if you're in a battleship, again, whatever you're comfortable with, I like ones that's going to have the best AP and the best armor, for me to be able to, at a distance, try to keep targeting as many as I can. Because one thing that you have to do is stay alive. I know that might sound facetious, but it really is. You got to stay alive. So I've noticed brawlers, you can get 200k in a brawler, but because you're rushing, you're eating torpedoes, everybody's firing at you from a distance, it tends to be a little bit more difficult. So the sniper battleships, I've definitely had steady consistency on being able to obtain 210,000, especially in Yamato. Yamato's given me well over a dozen 200k games, so that's why she is my definite go-to. So you'll see from that one salvo, I was able to rack up a little over 40,000 damage, which is awesome. And that's why I say a battleship or a torpedo boat at this tier, because you can really deal out that kind of a damage, making it easier for you to obtain that 210,000. Now, there is another factor when it comes to actually being able to obtain that damage. You really do need to have some decent teammates, because if you're running or you end up cannon fodder, you're not going to get it. So the gearing, he's an Xbox player, he's got 5 dots. I'd give you a shout out, but no screen name. So he did a great job coming over and protecting me while 2 battleships were pushing me. If he did not do that, and he was more concerned with just going and getting his torpedoes off, I definitely would have died, and we definitely would have lost that cap. So whoever you are, great job. To wrap this up, it really is going to be dependent on you. It's going to be dependent on, can you make those shots? So if you're in a battleship or even a cruiser, if you have not been able to make your shots, you're not going to get it. So I suggest jumping into AI, positioning yourself that's going to make you get those hard shots. I did that for months when I first started playing, and that's how I was able to hone my shooting. So with that said, this is how I got the 210,000. I really hope that helps you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, stay frosty out there.